Yo, what's up, guys? It's Shady here, and today we're here with our Week 1 battle of the APA Academy Season 2. Of course, we did play last season, and the APA Academy just came just short of making playoffs, and hopefully this season we can hopefully clutch up and make playoff this time around. This is going to be in the Civil War format. In case you don't know, there are 24 coaches, the 3 captains, and so that makes 8 people per team. Including the captain, and they drafted the coaches, and then the coaches drafted and all in one pool, all 24 coaches. And basically, you get 1 point for every win you get each week. The team with the most points wins, I guess, in the regular season. And then the team in first place gets 4 people, I think, into playoffs. The team in second place gets their top 3 players, and then the team in last place gets their top 2 players. So not only are we competing for our own playoff, but we are also competing for silver and all for one, which is our team name. So hopefully we can pull out the win. This league, or this season, was an Ubers draft. And personally, I really do not enjoy Ubers, but I still decided, man, before Ultras and the Moon died, I should at least give Ubers one shot. So yeah, we are doing that. This week we're going up against TTM Sticks and of the Token Minorities and his his Duke Blue Dwebbles. And he is on Team Tie-Dyes, with the captain being Dietite. So yeah, I did not do a draft analysis just because I do not like draft analysis. I don't like doing it. So my team will be on screen as well as Sticks. We have, of course, Lugia, Ash Greninja, Mega Charizard X, Florges, Milotic, Snorlax, Hitmontop, Registeel, Rotom, Rhydon, Gourgeist, and Azelf, with their Z users being Rotom, Gourgeist, and Azelf. I didn't really have great Z users on this team. As you can tell, it's pretty bulk oriented. I mean, I'm just a bulky player. I like drafting bulk, I like using bulk, and so I didn't really have a lot of Z users I could use. I couldn't have Ash Greninja be my Z user, nor Lugia, so that definitely limited my options. Whereas Sticks has Dialga, Mega Mawile, Rotom Wash, Victini, Shaman, Alolan Persian, Gengar, Porygon 2, Mesprit, Crabominable, Roselia, and the Zygarde complete, with the Zmond being Gengar, Alolan Persian, and Victini. So yeah, we'll quickly run down through our team as to what we are bringing. We have our Mega Charizard, which is just Fire Blitz, Earthquake, DD Roost. In this league, you don't have to Mega first turn, so I thought I could take advantage of that on the Mega Mawile, or just other Mons, and I thought that might be nice. I'm pretty bulky, and I made sure to EV myself to where Foul Play from Rotom would not do a KO. And you'll see how that ends up playing later in the game. So yeah. I did originally have Dragon Claw over Flare Blitz, I believe, but some people on my team on All for One suggested probably packing Dragon Claw over Flare Blitz, and you'll see how that comes into play later in the game. So next we have our Lugia, which is just a physically defensive wall meant to deal with his threats, such as the Mega Mawile, the Victini, and the Zygarde complete, of course. It does a really good job at one, that Zygarde. With Ice Beam, Earth Power, Toxic Roost. Ice Beam obviously touch that Zygarde, Earth Power to hit the Mega Mawile, Toxic, just to one down his team, and Roost. Next we have our Snorlax, which is a pretty much specially defensive set, with Body Slam, Earthquake, Stockpile, Recycle, with the Gluttony, Aya, Papa Berry. Alright, so next we have our Snorlax here, which is pretty specially defensive, with Body Slam, Earthquake, Stockpile, Recycle, with Aya, Papa Berry, Gluttony, of course. Pretty specially defensive, meant to take on his threats, such as the Dialga. It could take on the Shaman, and the Gengar mainly. The Gengar, this is a really good thing to stop the Gengar, so that's why I brought the Snorlax. Next we have our Registeel, which is a mixed wall with Seismic Toss, Earthquake, Toxic Rocks, This is meant to switch into his Mega Mawile, and his Shaman, his Gengar as well. It just really meant to take some of the pressure off of the other two walls. Rocks obviously is meant to chip down that Victini if he decided to bring it. Of course he didn't. I brought Ice Toss obviously for chip. It's a pretty good move to hit everything across the board. Earthquake to hit the Gengar or the Mega Mawile, the Dialga, just a few things. Victini, Toxic obviously to window down his team. So yeah, next we have our Ash Greninja with the Muscle Band. I decided to bring Physical this week with the Workup. I decided between Workup or U-Turn, or I was deciding between the two. I ultimately decided Workup in the end might be nice. I decided to bring a Physical set because I thought that he might his few options to deal with this thing would be a bulky Dialga or a Spadef Rotom-Wash, and so if he decided to bring Spadef Rotom-Wash, me hitting it with a Physical Night Slash would hurt a ton. And with the Dialga, I have Low Kick, and since I'm Physical, that's gonna hurt a lot more than if I was just like mixed, mainly specially offensive, and then just having Low Kick on it. So I did just decide to bring the completely physical Ash Greninja with the Muscle Band, Waterfall, Night Slash, Low Kick, Workup. My dual stabs hit everything on his team pretty hard, and then Low Kick obviously for the Dialga. The only problem with that set is that we couldn't touch Zygarde. I was really tempted to run Ice Beam over Workup. And you'll kind of see how that plays out in the battle. And last we have our Florges here, which is another mixed wall. I brought it because I wanted the Wish Pass into certain mons. I wanted Aromatherapy to get Toxic off of my mons, and because I needed a defogger on this team in case he tried to stack Hazard Stack. Because honestly, in the back of my mind, I did think the Roselia would come for this T-Spikes, and he did bring the Roselia. And so I'm really glad that it did decide to bring the Florges. So that's the team that we're packing. He brought the Rotom, which I thought would just be a defensive wall meant to either deal with physically for my Mega Charizard or especially for my Greninja. Dialga, don't really know what to expect from it. I don't really see Dialga often. Mega Mawile, just an offensive set. Just meant to, wall break. Next we have a Gengar, which I think is going to be probably like Z Focus Blast. Roselia, which is probably just going to be bulky and set up T-Spikes, and maybe just regular spikes, and then Zygarde complete, which I'm thinking will just probably be like a DD set. So yeah. I decide to lead with, I'm not sure, because honestly this has been a couple weeks since we've had this battle. But we are going to hop right into it right now, and we're going to kind of see what I decide to lead off with, and hopefully everything goes well. So we are going to be challenging Pokemon Trainer Sticks, and we are going to lead off with our Megazord X, because I think I anticipated the, I want to say I anticipated the Mega Mawile lead, but obviously it didn't work out, and I don't want to stay on this Rotom. I could Mega and easily 1v1 it, but I did not want to risk getting status, whether it be Thunder Wave, Toxic, so I do decide to go out in my Registeel to kind of scout for it. Mainly the Toxic, and of course he just fires off a Hydro Pump. So he's just gonna full switch out, and I'm just gonna stay in, and I decided to set my rocks as he decided to go out and do his Mega Mawile here. No, I Toxic here. Oh, okay, I Toxic trying to get the Toxic on the Rotom, I guess. I was not predicting the Zygarde. I may have actually been predicting the Zygarde. Honestly, though, he brought a good team for my Toxic, because he had the Roselia, the Mega Mawile, and the Dialga, which all are, of course, immune, and the Gengar. So the only thing I can really hit are the Zygarde and the Rotom, which still, Toxicking either one of those would be amazing. He is going to decide to set up his rocks. He isn't going to Mega, which I thought was interesting. I guess he's conserving the Intimidate for something in specific. As I just decided to EQ. You have to kind of see what he did. I mean, my Registeel was meant to wall that Mega Mawile anyways, so I just EQ'd. As I said, he set up his rocks, so I am going to want to get those defogged later in the game. As he's going to go onto his Roselia, as I decided to click Seismic Talk, predicting the swap. And he's going to click Sleep Powder, and he is unfortunately going to miss. Honestly, I think this would have been one of the mons that I was leaning towards sleep sacking anyways. So had he landed in sleep, that, I mean, don't get me wrong, it would be worse. I would have gotten my defog. I would have had to burn turn to try to wake up. But no, it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world for me personally, because it's better that my Fortress gets put to sleep than like my Ash Greninja, my Charizard, my Lugia, something like that. Here I'm gonna go out into my Snorlax. I see once again Sleep Powders. I thought this would also be another good mon that I could just sit in on and just take the Sleep Powder with this thing. So I'm gonna go into this, and he is gonna finally land the Sleep Powder after missing one. It didn't really matter though, because obviously he just connected it the next turn and outsped. I'm just gonna stay in here and just trying to see what he wants to do. He is gonna just Leech Seed me, and based off the fact that he's Sleep Powder Leech Seed, I do not think he is Toxic Spikes. I think he would have took the turn there to set that up rather than just going for the Leech Seed, and especially because he swapped out here, I don't think he's Toxic Spikes, so that's good for me. Here you should go out into his Mega Mawile and get the Intimidate drop, as I do believe I just do another sleep turn, or another turn of sleep, meaning that I have now taken 3 turns of sleep at this point, I believe. Therefore, I am guaranteed to wake up the following turn. Here I am going to swap out and go out into my Mega Charizard Egg, because I did think he'd set up his rocks. As this turn, he finally did decide to Mega Evolve. I'm not really sure what he was saving his Intimidate for, considering my only 2 offensive mons are like the Charizard, or physically offensive mons are like the Charizard and the Snorlax. I guess he decided he'd click it, or maybe he just forgot to click it the first time around, I don't know. But here I'm going to predict the swap out, and I'm going to go out into my Fortress, as he does indeed swap into his Rotom Wash, which is good for me because I know I can just get the defog off, or I can wish, whatever I want. As he is just going to fire off the Volt Switch here as he goes into his Mega Mawile, as I believe I do just go for the defog, and this is something that's very, very concerning. Considering that his rocker is his Mega Mawile and my defogger is the Forges, he's just able to send his Mega Mawile in any time and just able to constantly get those rocks back up for free. Even if he doesn't have the Iron Head, Playrough is going to be doing a lot to me. So this is definitely a problem that he brought this as his rocker rather than something else on his team, like the Mesprit, or really just the Mesprit. I get Dialga having rocks. I don't know if Dialga gets rocks or not, but Dialga carrying the rocks would have also been a problem for my Forges on paper. Here I am going to fire off the Earth Power Rose pretty much free, as he does end up going out into his Dialga, and of course he's not going to be doing a ton here, or we're not going to be doing a ton, which kind of showed me he is bulky probably for my Ash Greninja. But with all that Earth Power chip, it's going to be great for me. I didn't mind staying in, even if he toxic me. Of course, we do have the aromatherapy on our Forges in the back, so I was fine with it. Here, I'm going to actually wish, I believe. No, I actually stay in. And go out into my Registeel, scouting for Flash Cannon, as he clicks Toxic, which makes me think he does not have the Flash Cannon, because Flash Cannon was completely free there, in my opinion. I didn't think he had any prediction or any reason to over-predict and quick Toxic there, so I am kind of thinking he may not have Flash Cannon here. I'm going to go out into my Fortress on that play, thinking that he does not have it, as I believe he just clicks the Roar. And I also go into my Fortress because I am Aya Papa Berry, and I did get knocked into my my Papa Berry range, so I could get back up pretty healthy, as he does reveal to have the Aura Sphere. And so now I'm really thinking that he doesn't have the Flash Cannon, because he has Aura Sphere, Toxic, Roar. Not really sure what his fourth move could be, but probably like maybe Dragon Pulse or Draco Meteor. So it's looking pretty good for me, or Roar of Time, I guess. But I am thinking that my Fortress is pretty safe here against the Dialga. I am able to throw up a Wish, I believe, there, as he Toxics me, and I believe here I just decided to click the Aromatherapy, as he goes out, of course, into his Mega Mawile. No, I defog. Okay, I prioritized the defog over the Aromatherapy, and that's another reason why I didn't really worry about him putting my mom to sleep, because of course I do have the Aromatherapy on this thing. And here, of course, I am going to swap. He's going to get his rocks up free, and there's nothing I can do about it. I didn't pack HP Fire on this thing. Don't think I would have had the move or the room for it on my set. I mean, I was pretty limited as to what I could bring this week. Maybe I could have brought like HP ground over Moonblast, and honestly that may have been the move, but unfortunately obviously I did not. I'm gonna go out into my Ready Steel here on the Mega Mawile and just get some chip off with the Seismic Toss. Do a decent amount, bring him down to just above half, as he is just gonna fire off the Brick Break here. I thought he may have something for me, but I decided it's okay if my Ready Steel goes down, because I do have the Lugia, of course, in the back. Here, I'm just going to stay in and let my Ready Steel go down as I set the rocks, and just stack Ready Steel to get a clean switch in here into my Greninja, because this is, I believe, in Greninja range. It's in a Hydro Pump range, but of course I do not have the Hydro Pump. So I did think he would swap here, predicting that, thinking that I wouldn't stay in. Which is exactly what happened. He was scared of Hydro Pump being put in range. I wanted to kind of scout as to what he'd go into. Had I just fired off the waterfall, it would have killed with low kick afterwards. But I also think that had he saw I was physical, he would have scouted for the low kick. But at the same time, you really didn't have switch it into low kick plus another move outside of Roto Mosh, which is kind of what I scouted for there by going into Forges, because I thought I could get a free aromatherapy off, which is exactly what I'm going to opt to do here against the Dialga, since I know it's really free, considering I mean, it's pretty obvious he doesn't have Flash Cannon on that set. So here I am just going to stay in and just get the defog off. I did try to over-predict, or see if he'd over-predict and like do something crazy. As he does quick player up here, and based off the Seismic Toss damage and the Earthquake damage and the fact that I outsped, I can definitely tell that this is more bulky of a Mawile set. But despite him being pretty bulky, just because Florges' physical defense is pretty bad because of huge power, he's just going to be able to pick up the KO on my Florges there. Here, he's going to go out into his Rotom as I went into my Lugia, and I decided to click the Earth Power. I thought it was free. It was just kind of like whatever. I didn't feel like it was necessary for me to over predict, especially because if I were to over predict there and have just clicked Ice Beam, it would have been whatever. Like I wouldn't have done much more to this Rotom than Earth Power was doing. Like Ice Beam was doing nothing, is what I was trying to say. Here I just decided to click the Toxic Cure because I know I could take any hit from this Rotom, especially because of multi-scale. As he decided to actually click Thunder Wave, which is amazing for me in the sense that now I can't be toxic by anything on his team. But of course that kind of raises some problems later in the game with now I'm going to be a lot slower, and I'm going to have to deal with some para hacks probably later in the game. Here I decided to go out into my Charizard before he sets up his rocks, and that's exactly what happens here. And here I just believe I decided to go for the DD. Here I actually misclicked. I realized it as I clicked it that I really shouldn't have Mega, because like I said before the game started, I don't need a Mega first turn in this league. So had I not Mega Evolved, this player would have done far less damage than it does here. Of course you see it does like above half. But of course I did, like I said, get the DD off, as he is going to here go out into his Gengar as I decided to click EQ. Obviously I can't take another player off. Had I not Mega Evolved, I would have had to, I could have probably gone for a second Dragon Dance. We do get lucky there. I mean, not lucky, but we don't get unlucky. We don't get Curse Bodied or anything. And now he's going to be able to send in his Rotom Wash here for pretty much free. And now I'm just going to be able to click Roost here, because like I said earlier in the game, not earlier in the game, but before we started this, whenever I was going over my team, I did EV myself to be able to take this foul play and be able to boost the damage off over and over again. And because I did decide to stay in with my Lugia earlier in the game in Toxic, I'm just going to be able to roost all this thing. And just over and over again. I'm not going to be able to, of course, get another DD up at all, even because then at that point I'm going to be doing over half. So I'm pretty much just going to have to Toxic Stall this thing, and I am going to speed this part up a little bit because it does get stally. But pretty much it's just going to keep, he can let his Rotom go down here, just so that I can't get a second DD up, because if I do get a second DD up, that'd be terrible for his team. But eventually he does miss a Thunder Wave somewhere in here, and I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess the that like forces him to click Thunder Wave another turn. But like in the grand scheme of things, it really wouldn't have mattered too much, I don't think. It would have just came down to him, of course, being able to, like, he clicked T-Wave the following turn, I believe, and so had he not missed the first T-Wave, had he not missed the first T-Wave, that would have been one extra turn for him to crit with Foul Play, or one extra turn for me to possibly get paired at a very bad time. But as you're going to see, at this part is all sped up. I don't get paired at all, and I do successfully Roost Toxic this thing down. So now he's going to be able to go out into his Zygarde here, and of course, as you know, we are not packing the Dragon Claw. Had we been packing the Dragon Claw, I think I probably would have clicked it there. I would have had to look at calcs, because I am actually pretty certain, now that I think about it, that because I was paralyzed, even at +1, Zygarde probably outsped me. So I probably wouldn't have stayed in. I'm not 100% sure though, but I am just going to go out into my Lugia, which is my dedicated check to this the Zygarde here. And he is going to go out into his Mega Mawile, as I do believe I click Roost. It's pretty free against his team. And starting from about whenever it was Zygarde versus, not Zygarde, Charizard versus Mawile, whenever I clicked the DD the first time, I started realizing that I may have to start timer stalling. And so at this point, I did indeed slow down on clicking my moves, just to kind of see what kind of position I could put myself into. And after picking up the kill on the Mega Mawile, which he decided to sack, I'm now up 4-3, and now I'm pretty much deciding at this point that it is in my best interests probably to timer stall. And of course, I know not everyone is completely okay with that, and may look down on timer stalling, but in my eyes, I felt like that may have been the safest way for me to win this game. So here I am going to once again click Roost, as he had decided to accept the Leech Seed with his Roselia, and then immediately swap out. And now, I think at some point I probably should have swapped out here. Like maybe right here before he started setting up DDs. I probably should have swapped out into my Snorlax probably, because I knew I could take one. Then immediately swap back out into my Lugia, because this Leech Seed damage is going to be very, very crucial to this Lugia versus Zygarde matchup here. And I click Earth Power that turn because I kind of wanted to scout the damage. And from what I can see, he's pretty bulky. And here I am going to click the Ice Beam because I want to make sure I pop his Yachi Berry, because I was pretty confident that he was Yachi Berry. It just made sense, just with the build of his Zygarde and against my team, that he would bring that. With the amount of ice coverage my team can carry, with like Ice Beam, Greninja, Ice Beam Lugia, my loaded with Ice Beam, Rogue Tom with HP Ice, you know, just a bunch of different mons that could have carried ice coverage pretty easily. And so yeah, like I said, at this point I am timer stalling a lot, and I'm just making sure that I can keep this 4-3 lead against Styx, because I was doing the math with the HP and all that, and because of Zygarde's high base HP, because of Dialga's high base HP, and what was his last mon? His Roselia, which I am really yet to dent at all. I'm pretty sure it's still at full. Against, you know, my Greninja, which has very low base HP compared to those mons. The Snorlax, which is pretty chipped already, and the, what's my final mon? The Florges, which is only like at half health as well. I'm pretty sure I don't win this matchup, or this 1v1, and I'm just going to keep clicking Roost here, as he did get the DDs up he needed necessary to win. However, I did of course get paralyzed, as you may have saw, and that was really unfortunate, because had I not gotten paralyzed earlier, I didn't bring it up, I kind of rambled on. Had I not gotten paralyzed that turn, when I did with my Lugia, I would have gotten the Roost off, and I would have been much healthier, and I would have been able to take the Zygarde on, because literally this was the final turn. I just needed one turn, one more turn. I think there's like 20 seconds on the clock, and I know the turn I Mega Evolved with Charizard, I accidentally clicked the move right away. I know I wanted to take a little bit more time on it and kind of think about it a bit more, and I knew that that might help my case later on with timer stalling, but of course I did not. But yeah, like I said, had I not gotten paired, I'm pretty sure I roosted off that turn, and had I gotten that roost off, I would have been in a much favorable position to completely beat that Zygarde 1v1. I literally just needed one more turn, so literally that roost would have won me the game. I made sure to, never Ice Beam it twice to put it into his complete form. And like I said, I would have just won the game had I not gotten parried there. Of course, I said that the sticks, after the battle and all that. I apologize for timer stalling. I actually haven't said yes in the commentary. GG to sticks. Of course, there was a bit of hacks on my side, or I mean, like from his perspective on my side, like he got hacks in the sense that he did miss a couple sleep powders here and there, and a couple thunder waves. Not a couple thunder waves, just one thunder wave on my Charizard, which, like I said, that only like cost him one turn of battle. So it wasn't anything big. Had he landed sleep powder on my Florges, I just would have had to waste a few turns trying to wake up with it, which may have ended up being annoying, but I think I would have eventually woken up and had been fine. And then he missed sleep powder on my Snorlax, but it didn't matter because he just ended up outspeeding and sleep powdering the next turn. See, I don't think any of those misses were a big deal. However, I did get pretty lucky, of course, with my with the amount of times I got fully paralyzed with my Charizard against the Rotom, and of course the Lugia versus the Zygarde. And so, am I completely mad that, I lost the game there at the end because of a paralysis? Of course not. And I even said that after the game, I'm not surprised that I got paralyzed at all. In fact, I think I clicked like a roost probably 8 or 9 times, so if anything I should have gotten paralyzed another turn statistically. But, of course I only got paralyzed the once, which is all he needed to win the game there at the very, very end. So once again, GG to Sticks. I know he wasn't too happy with me whenever he kind of realized that a timer stalled, and I think kind of after the game kind of went by after a couple of days, just based on our interactions in APA Academy, I think he kind of calmed down a bit about it. I think we're having a bit more of friendlier conversations, or interactions, I should say. We haven't really had any like full-on conversations or anything, but I think it's going a little bit better between us, and I think he definitely kind of sees, from my perspective, maybe a bit more that it was kind of all I had. And I never claimed that any of the hacks that he got was like, I never said that he didn't get any hacks or anything like that. I never claimed that there's nothing on his side. I don't know, I'm kind of rambling on at this point. But anyways, I'm just going to kind of cut the rambling there. Once again, GG to Sticks. Because it was a 3-3 and it ended at the timer, we are going to take the loss, of course, because of the HP difference. At the end there, I went into my Snorlax because I thought the only way I won the game is if Snorlax somehow lived the hit. But of course it did not. I didn't think it would, but I was just hoping by some miracle it did. It had a better chance of living probably than the Lugia. So that's why I wanted that. Of course I didn't. And he's going to win by HP count, which is what I predicted if we were to let Amon go down there. And that's pretty much all we have left to say about that game. So we aren't going to gain or lose any dips, so we are now 0-1 plus 0. As of the end of week 1, the All-for-One, our team is second on the second overall. That's pretty nice. I think we were like 5th on our team. Actually no, we were probably like 4th. I don't remember how many points we got week 1 or how many wins. But yeah, that's going to be the game. Of course, next week we face off against Coach Kohan and his Reno Raikus. Of course, I'm going to be uploading the PGP games and the final, or the ending of the UPBA games. I do have all those recorded. I need to get them all uploaded, and so that will be happening the duration of this upcoming week, as well as the PGP games up that I'm a little bit behind on. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you go check out Stickside. He'll be commentating all his stuff. It should already be up as of the time when this gets uploaded. So I will hopefully link it in the description below, but at the very least, of course, I will have him linked in the description, as well as all the coaches of the APA Academy this season
all down in the description below. So make sure to check out all of them. All of them are fantastic coaches. And yeah, I thank you guys so much for watching once again. This has been Shady, and I'm out. Peace.